Welcome to another edition of the Lowco Grind presented by Reverence Wrestling Club. Justin Jarrett from Lowco Sports, joined by George Dixon and Coach John Rutherford from Battery Creek. What's up, fellas? It was a busy weekend on the local wrestling slate. We had all kinds of stuff going on. We had the girls had middle school state championship as well as high school league state qualifier. We also had Region 7 4A tournament, which was really just kind of an exercise in exhibition almost, because only 5 people in the whole tournament got eliminated. But it was good. You know, there were some good matchups, some fun matches. We had region championships decided in duels. Bay River clinched their 6th in a row this week. Rutherford, you guys had a Donnybrook with Philip Simmons, but you actually kind of like the path through the playoffs as the 2 seed. We'll talk about that a little bit. And John Paul had a couple nice wins as well, and moved up to number 3 in the SCHSL playoff seeding, and they'll host the first 2 rounds at home. They're going to bye in the first round and then wrestle the winner in round 2 on Wednesday. So all good stuff there, as well as Michaela Henchy from Bluffton. We know her well, George. She won a 14U Girls Folk Style National Championship, USA Wrestling. So big time stuff for her. I think she's going to come on next week. They were traveling back tonight, so wasn't sure it was going to be able to work out tonight, but I think we'll get Mac on next week. She was part of our Lowcountry Wrestling Club back in the day when we first got things going. So and she was new to the sport, so it's very cool to see how quickly she's gotten to that level. So good stuff. But fellas, where were you at this weekend? I didn't see you guys. Where are you at?
Well, I was at the JP2 deal yesterday with them wrestling. Was it Greenwood? Something.
They beat
anyway.
Northwood. Yeah, they beat
Northwood
54-28, and they beat the Thomas Hayward, Colleton Prep, Patrick Henry trio squad 56-21. So that's pretty cool, and you can beat 3 of your peers all combined into one team. I mean, I know they're
that is pretty good for the boys over there, the Warriors at John Paul 2. They did a good job. They wrestled well, and so they were ready to go with that yesterday. So
yeah, Lawns. I noticed today that Lawns is calling their gym the Warrior Coliseum, which is pretty cool. I got to give him props for that. It's pretty good. Rutherford, tell us a little bit more about the Region 8 3A duels, because I know you guys beat Buford and Hanahan, and then the score against Philip Simmons is 52-30, but I don't think it was that close. It felt like there were like 3 matches that you were kind of in control of, or you ended up getting pinned. Felt like it really easily could have gone the other way.
Yeah, I mean, Buford, we started with Buford, and, you know, it's always a rivalry, and they were a tough team. We wrestled them. That'd be, I think, the 2nd or 3rd time this year. So kind of nice to win that one. And then Hanahan, always a historically pretty tough team. They had a little bit of a down year this year and had some guys out of the lineup. And we handled that pretty well. And then Philip Simmons, they're a workhorse. We had our 215 match that, you know, I think we still we'll get another shot at him this week. I think we will have a shot at beating him, but we put Leroy Tice. We bumped him down, told him he had to go get a pin, and he got caught trying to go for the pin. So, you know, he had taken the guy down and put him on his back a couple times, but realized that he was not going to be able to turn him unless it was feet to backs. And after about the 3rd time, he got caught. So, you know, it was a lot of it was the score doesn't favor how well we did. You know, we don't have a 13 right now, so that kind of hurt us. But they're a really well-coached team, and it's a really good program. So we're not too mad about it. And then we turn around and beat North Charleston. They're a very small program. I think they brought 5 maybe. So.
Okay, yeah, I didn't even know if they had enough to really muster a dual lineup or not.
So by rules, they can't go to the playoffs either way. So if they were to have won, because they didn't have enough people, but they kind of reached out to the coach and was like, hey, if we come, can we get some matches? And of course,
at least get some matches. That's right.
Yeah, so.
It's probably hard for them to find matches because people just don't want to wrestle a duel with you if you only have 5
Correct.
kids.
That's what he said. He goes, it's really hard when people, they see there's only 5. They're like, well, we'll see. And they don't really get back to them. But we took this weekend, I actually went to the girls' lower state qualifier. So that's new, and it was really cool be part of that. So a lot of good wrestling.
Yeah, we're hoping Coach Simmons can pop by and talk a little bit about his Whale Branch girls. And someone has just popped in with us. It's Lawrence. Greg Lawrence joins us now from JP2 or shortly. What's up, Lawrence? What's going on, man?
Not much. Just
Good evening.
getting ready for the week, right?
We were just talking about your guys, but Rutherford was just telling us a little bit more about the girls' state qualifier because he was up there this weekend, and just looking at the brackets, it looked like a good number of girls, and it's good to see the sport continuing to grow in those ranks.
Yeah, I mean, Whale Branch I think brought 9. I think they had 2 qualify.
Yeah.
May River was there with a girl. Bluffton had Jada, of course, and she looked really good. We brought 2, and Ginger Eighth got knocked out in the blood rounds to River Bluff, well coached by Braden Fix over at River Bluff there, and had a shot to beat her and looked into a half the wrong way, and a lot of good wrestling. The girls want it, and you can see that. I wish we could have been able to stream it so people could have watched it because they're feisty. They want to get after it. It's the only time I've ever seen more wrestlers hug after a match is at the girls tournament. So
there you go. Well, there's your placers from the Lowco and the girls tournaments. Vivian Uriola from May River and Jada Lawrence from Bluffton winning titles. So they'll go on to the state tournament along with Rosa Olivetti from Hilton Head, third at 112. Giannina Rosario and Mary Black from Whale Branch, and Amaya LaPresta from Colleton County, and Ani Mariano from Hilton Head placed 4th. So all of them moving on to the state tournament. And then middle school girls, Amory Alvarez, I got to see her wrestle a good bit this year for Bluffton Middle, and Eliza Diaz Morales. I don't know that I saw her wrestle for the middle school, but they both win titles, middle school girls titles. Cameron Fields from Ladies Island I saw this year. She was tough. Got second. Jordan Heaton from Bluffton Middle, who I've known since she was a little girl, so that's pretty cool. And Alana O'Quinn from Ladies Island placing 4th. So good to see for the ladies of the Lowco starting to show out. Good stuff. Charlie's here. All right, let's get Charlie in. What's up, baby? Charlie, what's going on, man?
What's up,
we were
guys?
just talking about the girls qualifier, and we've been hyping up the Whale Branch girls all year because you had such good numbers over there. Sending 2 to state, and I know you're proud of what you've done with that program over there. So tell us a little bit more about the journey this year.
Man, it's been rough, man, but it's been great because the girls they have really been a rock for us, man. They've been, without them, the boys team is just nothing because they fill a lot of weight classes for us, and they're not afraid to get in there and wrestle against the boys. So
no, they're scrappers.
Yeah. With them being able to go wrestle against just girls this week, I mean, they were up for that, man. They were really ready for that. Get their hands on some girls. They enjoyed that, man.
Oh, absolutely. It's kind of like when you got hammers in the room that you got to go against that are, 2 weight classes above you, and then you get to go wrestle somebody your own weight. It's like that, but like doubly so because they get to finally have a fair fight. But, tell us about your program this year and particularly about the 2 girls who moved on yesterday.
Well, Gigi, she wrestled with us last year. She was one of the 2 girls that made it, that she went to wrestle in the state last year. So she's learning a lot, and it's something that she really wants to do moving forward, even at the next level. So she's really took interest in wanting to be a wrestler. Mary, this is her first year. Wish I had her 3 years ago, but she's a senior.
Yeah.
So it's rough, she's still learning a lot, but she's strappy, man. She's out there, man. And just a lot of people doesn't know, but she really wanted to quit last Monday. She didn't come to practice, like, Coach, I'm done. This is enough. I said, you can't do that. I said, please. I said, all that work you put in all year, and you finally get a chance to go to wrestle against girls next week. I'm not going to let you do that. So she took the day off, and she came back, and So yesterday we had to talk about it, after the fact yesterday, and she, sent messages. She was like, Coach, I appreciate it. I'm ready. So she's ready to go to state. So it's been a hill to climb for her, but she's ready.
And that's the joy of coaching right there, Charlie, because your girls, when you any of your wrestlers, and they're on the edge, and you grab them and hang on to them and keep them involved. It's huge, and that's a testament to you as a coach to be able to get that bond with her to the point where she did come back.
That's
yes,
right.
yes,
yeah. You were able to get her back in there. That's I mean, it's such a difficult sport, as you know. I mean, it's demanding of you, and so it's not an easy thing to come back every day and pour yourself out there. So credit to you, Coach. And how are your guys looking going into the postseason?
It's up and down because it's like, with that 1A, 2A, we don't know where we're going.
Yeah.
They're trying to separate it from 1A, get away from 2A. You have a lot of 1A schools that don't really want to commit because they don't want to have to pay that fine if they don't have 7 wrestlers. So, our guys, they're ready to just wrestle, man. It's like win, lose, or draw, they just ready to go out there and compete, regardless of where we go, they don't care about all that because they don't have to deal with that like I do. But they just ready to wrestle. They ready to go and wrestle, man. They don't care. They just like
that's right.
4A, 5A, just put them in front of us so we can get better.
That's right. Just get on the mat. That's
better.
The main thing.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I think I have like guys wise, I have 1 senior, so he'll be gone. Well, two seniors, so the rest of them are real young. So they just want to wrestle.
Very good, man. So when will you guys find out where you go for duels for playoffs?
Monday or Tuesday.
Okay, right on. And how did you guys? Yeah, go ahead, Rutherford.
Well, I think Tuesday is the 1A, 2A seating meeting. That's usually when it is. So.
Yeah, that's what I heard as well. And so they would have that out by Wednesday.
There we go. All right, very good. And how did you guys end up at the region duels? I know that Bridges ended up knocking off Bamberg to win it. Where'd you guys finish up?
Well, I believe it's probably if it really was a true region duel, we would have been 3rd.
Okay.
Blackville was there. You really have to have 4 teams to have a true region championship. So right. We just put it together so we can get some matches in and do what it is. But we wrestled, I believe, Bamberg first, and I think we lost by probably 1 pin or something. It was like probably I think 42 to like 38 or something like that. It was really close, man.
Right there on them, yeah.
Yeah, right there. But we missed a couple of people because we had National Junior Honor Society meeting that day, so had to shuffle some lineups. Line up a lot. So no excuses, but 5 girls out of that 14 had to wrestle that day. So they did what they had to do, but came up short against Bamberg, then wrestled Bridges. I believe we came up short probably about 2 matches to beat them, but it was good, man. It was good. We gave up a fight. I can see Bridges coach or Bamberg's coach looking over like 8 points. There you go. Bridges by 18. There you go. So we could see Coach White probably tell yourself. We look over and we can see Bamberg's coach looking over like, they're looking at the score and they're like, oh my. They're about to beat us, like that. So it was our kids were excited too because they was like, "Well, we're about to get them this time." So it was good. We're about to get them.
Well, maybe in the playoffs.
Hey,
maybe getting a shot.
Yeah.
Never do know. But how's my guy Zoe doing?
Zoe's doing well, man. Coming back from his football stuff, so he's trying to get back in the wrestling shape right now. So
yeah,
he's really trying to get back in wrestling shape.
Better get that conditioning going, huh?
Yeah.
Well, hey, thanks a lot, Charlie. We appreciate you, man, and congratulations on all the success you're having over there at Whale Branch. Keep up the good work.
right. I wouldn't be able to do it without Coach White getting those girls out there,
Oh,
using all his
I know
soccer
that's
girls,
right.
man. I know he's
I
happy
know that's right.
we break them up, right?
He
But all
told me
right, I
he's got the
appreciate it.
certified scale in his classroom, so he can just pull people in there and weigh them out right out of the hallway.
Yeah. So he's gonna have a lot
Love
of uh, wrestling soccer players running around in the spring. So
There you go.
all right, I
Sounds good,
appreciate you
man.
guys.
Yes, sir. Take care, Charlie.
All right.
Good night, Coach.
See you,
All
buddy.
right, good night.
Charlie Simmons from Whale Branch Girls Wrestling, or Boys and Girls Wrestling. He's the head coach for both teams, doing great work over there. And Rutherford, I wanted to play this little video because you mentioned all the hugs at the girls tournament. This is from my niece's girls tournament out in Kansas this weekend. They had a lunch break, and they had a whole organized dance routine during the lunch break. I think we can all agree we've never seen that at a wrestling tournament, a guys' wrestling tournament before.
Well, and it's funny you say that. I had a moment that reminded me about coaching. So Dreer's head coach got sick Friday night before the tournament. They had their region duels and got sick, and so he called the Brooklyn KC coach and said, "Hey, I need someone to coach my girl. I can't. I'm throwing up. I got the flu." Well, the girl goes to go weigh-ins, and they said, "Where's your singlet?" And she didn't have a singlet, and so she's freaking out, and she runs out. And the Brooklyn KC coach comes to me, and by habit, I always bring extras, and so I gave her a singlet. And she goes to try to give me a hug, and I'm like, "I'm not used to hugging wrestlers. It's a new thing." I said, "Now, if you're wearing a BC singlet, you got to win." Well, I think she ended up taking third. So, but it's funny. I look around and there's at a girls' tournament, you've got our girls are excited that Buford's winning. Will Branch girls are sitting by us. Well, I mean, everyone's supporting each other. And the guys do it too. We're just not as huggy.
A little more at the middle school level. They definitely support each other at the middle school level a little more than they do at the high school level.
And I know we
a little more
we
bad
get along
blood.
with everybody, but it's harder as a high school guy, I think, to talk to your opponent, whereas the girls are braiding each other's hair and then they wrestle each other. It's
right. It's hilarious. The middle school guys are about the same. I mean, they're just like, they'll always be like, "Hey, coach, I just met the guy I'm going to wrestle." And I'm like, "What? What? You were just having a conversation with him?"
Yeah.
You're supposed to be staring bullets at him across the gym, slapping yourself and stuff. What are we doing here? But Lawrence, we talked about you guys a little bit earlier, but great day for you yesterday. Sets up a big night in the Coliseum on Wednesday. I like that you're calling it the Warrior Coliseum. That's good. So tell us a little more about the Warriors this week.
Yeah, so we had a good match Saturday with George and Ty officiating. They did great as always. So always appreciate having high quality refs. So George, I can't say it enough. Especially when we get to the SCHSL tournament where maybe there's some less than quality ones. I saw Ty on the mat a couple times. I know there's some 80-year-old refs that aren't getting like that. So that was good to see. But yeah, we had a pretty good showing. We had 4 or 5 guys out. We were on 4 were on a religious event, which that won't happen next year. We'll switch around the schedule. And 3 of them were starters. So our 6-pounder, and really understand that. Then we had a guy who was still banged up and wrestled, which he saved us a couple points at 132. So we did well. They had momentum and they rallied around each other. So I'm excited. I think right now they're trending up. They're a team that if they come out ready to go, they're good. So we'll be ready to go on Wednesday when I anticipate we'll be wrestling Heathwood, since the playing match is Heathwood and Patrick Henry. And Patrick Henry had, I think, a grand total of 4 guys. So, yeah. But we beat Heathwood at the Hammond duels 48-34. I know they'll be ready to go, but, we always like to go after the Columbia schools because, they think they're all that. And we ain't taking that down here in Lowco. So
That's right.
and that's why you call it the Coliseum. It's trying to get that gladiator mentality for our boys, and they're slowly evolving to that point. So
I thought you said Thomas Sumter and Heathwood in your email.
I got a update from
Ah.
Austin Hood that they
There we go. So it's Patrick Henry.
switched it up. So yeah, I mean, I don't think it would have mattered that we anticipate
Right.
Hall,
Yeah, right.
So
yeah, because they've usually been pretty strong, right? So that should be a pretty good challenge for you. But who would you have if you advance through this? You'll face who's the 2 seed?
Hammond. So we're excited about that. Austin does a pretty good job of mixing up his lineup, and we'll have to play a little strategy there. Which we lost them, I think, at the Hammond duel was 48-30. I'm looking at my records here. So they're solid. Good guys are doing stuff in the off season. You got Luke Martin, you heard of him. He's done his stuff. He's probably the best guy in SCHSL, and he went out to Fargo, and so he's legit. He could wrestle anywhere from 38, 44, 50, and be solid. And Raven at 44 is pretty solid too. He was, I think he's a 2-timer. And they got some other guys, but we'll compete with them. If our guys show up, I think we can make it to the finals. And I'd not like nothing better than to beat Cardinal Newman. So they got a little
the Catholic Wrestling Championship of South Carolina.
Absolutely, man. Play the hammer. So we're getting there. It's a process, and I think our guys are finally buying into. You got to put more time in. One of our guys is last, I guess, 3 weeks started going to Reverence, and I see the difference. George, you probably saw it as our guy at 144 was throwing down some standing tilts and stuff, and it's been a huge confidence builder for him. I think he's gone 6-0 the last. Jack's gone 6-0 the last 6 matches he's had. And
that's Jack Hannigan, right?
Yeah, 32-pounder. Yeah. He wasn't banged up, would be there, and I got 3 or 4 guys saying, "Man, I'm ready to go there." And I'm like, "Yep, that's what it takes." So,
it's funny how guys.
Good luck. I'll see y'all there. So, we'll have fun with it.
Yeah, you get whipped a couple of times. People start deciding maybe they'll go to Reverence. That got my son off the fence. He got pinned a couple times. He prides himself on not getting pinned, even when he loses. He got pinned a couple times at sectionals, and he was like ready to start going to Reverence. It's like, all right, let's go. So that's what it takes sometimes. But no, I know you got to bounce, Lawrence. But glad to hear from you, and congratulations on the wins yesterday. Best of luck Wednesday. I'll be at USCB basketball calling the Sand Sharks, but I'll be eagerly looking forward to updates on how you guys do.
All right. Thank you, George. I'll see you on Wednesday.
Yes, sir. You have a good night, Lons. Appreciate it, man.
Right. See y'all.
Hey, Coach.
All right. Take care, man. Greg Lawns, JP2 Wrestling, doing a great job over there, continuing the tradition started by Bill Demude, who we all know very well. He's been around for a long time. South Carolina Wrestling Hall of Famer. We're gonna have to get him in here one of these nights.
He doesn't do computers very well.
Yeah, same with Newton. Apparently, Newton's a Luddite. He wasn't sure he'd be able to finagle it. He was going to hop on with us tonight, but something popped up. But lots of good stuff happening on the wrestling mats. We'll talk about some more here in a little bit after we shout out some sponsors. The presenting sponsor, of course, is Reverence Wrestling Club, which has stepped up to help us get this Lowco Grind podcast off the ground. We'll definitely be talking more combat sports and MMA stuff as we shift away from wrestling when the high school season wraps up and there's not quite as much to talk about, although certainly we got kids going and wrestling year round all over the place. So we'll be keeping up with that as people go off to national tournaments and stuff. Varsity sponsor or MVP sponsors, Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of Lowco Sports, and my wife. She would love to help you find your place in the Lowco and put down an anchor in the best place because she's part of the new anchor home group of Keller Williams Realty of the Lowcountry. So call on Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of Lowco Sports, and Homegrown Home Inspections, the official home inspectors of Lowco Sports. My friend Jan Lucas and his team providing the best customer service and expertise in the area. when it comes to home inspection. So call on them to make sure that you're making a great investment in the Lowco real estate market. Mickelson Law Firm is the official real estate closing attorney of Lowco Sports and our original sponsor. Since 2017, Ryan and Tiffany and the team will take care of all your legal needs at Mickelson Law Firm. And Hospice Care of the Lowcountry, the official hospice care of Lowco Sports, and the only not-for-profit hospice care south of the Broad. So call on them and donate to them so that they can continue to provide hospice care, palliative care, and many other vital services to our community. Those are MVP sponsors. Hey, fellas, let's see. What do we want to talk about? Let's talk about Region 7 4A tournament. So first of all, I think we're doing away with this next year, as I understand, this region tournament where we have 6 teams and we take 5 to lower state, and there were only 5 brackets that had 6 guys in them. So we eliminated 5 guys in a whole day of wrestling. It's kind of silly, but it was interesting because got to see some guys drop down, like the May River guys that had bumped down for Shark and then went back up. They all pretty much came down. Folks down to 13, McCallum at 20, Walter Briones dropped to 26, and then Thomas Bro stepped in there at 132 and won the dang thing because Rudisill stayed up. Wheeler from North Myrtle Beach went down to 32. Rudisill stayed at 38, and I talked with him. It's like he thinks that's his best shot to win it, and the dude wants 4. He wants 4. I think it's the right move.
He can take it.
He sure can.
Good choice. Good choice for him.
I think so. Wheeler's a hammer. He's just a funnel. He's one of the few kids who I feel like can match Houston, like with physicality and strength, because they're both just barrel-chested dudes. Rudisill, though, I continue to be so impressed with him, not just on the mat, but I stood and talked with him. I just asked him, hey, how was Tulsa? And the dude rattles off like play-by-play of every match in Tulsa and like, oh, and I just barely missed this dump. So I was working the dump out there today because I got to get it just right, you know? And I'm like, man, this kid is just a freshman. Like he has the like maturity, emotional maturity and understanding of the big picture so far beyond what so many kids do, even by the time they're a senior. Like it's unreal to talk to him and see how high a level he's processing it all on and all that stuff. But have you guys had a chance to talk to him much or just see him wrestle?
I've just seen him wrestle. Yeah, I haven't talked to him.
I got the chance to talk to him a couple times. We've met up a few times. I'm one of those coaches. I'm not afraid to talk to anybody. And we had a kid out and I forfeited to him. And I told him, he's like, well, I'll bump up. And we were kind of laughing. I said, I don't think it's worth it. If it was a good kid and I had the senior, I said, now, if you want to find a way and I'll find Elmer to wrestle with you. And I said, but, keep your head up. And he was wrestling in, I think it was the May River tournament. Something happened. He came off the mat and I was like, hey, if you just move that hand a little bit. And he kind of looked at me. It was kind of one of those things where, again, another coach is helping you. And I told him, I was like, I got nothing to lose from you winning the state title. That makes me cool. I said, if the more people in the lower country that win it and the Lowco wins it, the better for us. Yeah. I said, that way, if you come back every year and beat the snot out of my kids have to get better. Or like you said, they either keep losing or get better.
And that's the deal for all of us. I mean, that's what we want, right? We want the Lowco to be, the go-to county, the area that everybody looks at. That is a wrestling area. And if we can do that, if we can get that, yay for us. And that's what happens. You get better because your competition gets better. And so
because you get tired of getting beat by the same guy over and over.
Like you see 12 times a year.
And you're like, well, he's going to Reverence 4 nights a week. I better go 5 nights a week.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's the only way to do it. So yeah, that was interesting to see some guys moving around weight wise, because you never know where people are going to stick for the individuals, and this locks them in. So then you kind of got an idea. Now May River still has a ton of flexibility as far as duels go, because they got guys weighed in like a ton of guys weighed in. They got so many guys. They just keep producing them. It's incredible. But some other region champs. Another one that dropped down, Bryce Stevenson from Hilton Head down to 106. And he looks tough there, man.
Did well.
He's working that tilt, and he's so strong at 106 relative to the other guys that, man, it's tough. He had it working on Seaman. Seaman almost caught him a couple of times, but he was strong enough to power through it. Seaman's going to be really good, though, when he is actually 106 pounds or 108 right now, because he ain't even close. He's up to 102 now, he said.
Yeah.
But he's
finally broke 100.
He's been bulking. But I had a video of I got a video of Stevenson working this tilt. It's pretty nasty. He's working it pretty good.
That Mason tilt, man, when you hit it, it's so fun.
It's so frustrating on bottom, man. You're like, oh God. Oh. Steven was fighting off of it, and I'm telling you, there's one time here where he bout catches him. Right there. Oh, he almost had him, and then he almost got him another time. Actually kind of had him for a second, and Stevenson was able to power out of it. But he ended up teching him mostly on that tilt. But he looks, I mean, he was tough at 113, but he looks really strong.
And that's just that's two strong, good wrestling kids that, you know, it's kind of fun to watch them get after it because
it didn't feel like a tech. I'll tell you that. Look at that. He was going to stick him if he could have just kept his hips over. Oh, great job by Stevenson to fight out of it, though.
Well, I love it. You can see Newton in the background, like, trying to relax and try to not freak the kid out. You know, that's
right.
Yeah. That body language, though, he was definitely feeling it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. His eyeballs were about to pop out of his head.
It's fun to see Mike get out of the chair again. Yeah. He loves it.
He does every now and then. Yeah, he's loving it. He can't wait till those middle school kids get there. Man,
that's good. Yeah.
He's got a horde of them coming too.
Well, that deal went Thursday night. We were there, and to see those middle school kids getting after it. And I talked with Mike afterwards because I was sitting over there with him at the table. But I'm evaluating the officials, and Mike's watching, and he's announcing and being the MC and whatever. And so we talked about it afterwards. And he's like, "Yeah, we're not really that strong individually." But as a team, as a dual team,
numbers
they were very good. So,
yeah. Here's one of my favorite matches, probably my favorite match of the whole tournament on Saturday. This was a Donnie Brook, 157. Gabe Fulton and James Island. I can't think of his name right now, but I got it here. Copeland Grooms. Gabe Fulton gives me a heart attack when he wrestles. It's like his brother. His brother would just be fighting off his back, and then just stick somebody until he ripped his shoulder off in the semifinals.
Yeah, until that.
Until that. And then pinned the guy in the third period after he separated his shoulder. But this was a wild one. Gabe was down 3-0 after the first period. And it was just a wild scrap. It's going to come down.
To Nutter, though. I mean, those guys, every one of those guys fight like that. I mean, you can't teach that. That's just something the kids have to buy in and believe that you wrestle to the end, and you'll see it.
Well, and it happens in your room. It happens in your room in practice, just pushing them. Look at that blast, that double to the moon. I love it. Nice.
And that's culture, like you said. That's part of what you do. If you're always scrapping, you're never really out of it.
That's right. Just keep fighting. If you're in better shape than the other guy too, look at that. I mean, just wild animal, kick out of there. Just whatever it takes. Just go nuts. It's a good match, man. I think his mom.
That was a good win for Gabe. Yeah, that was a good.
It was a really good win for Gabe, especially the way he gets it. You're gonna see he gives that up, so he's down 1 now, with like 28 seconds left. He stood up and The guy ran him out of bounds the first time. So then he's got 10 seconds to get out. All right, the ref is with us, Rutherford. Let's see. You got two? You got two, George?
He had two. He threw it a little early, but before time expired, he did have the two.
I agree. Yeah, he had two.
That's the toughest spot as a coach. Like, like you just said, before time got out, because we always tell them head out. You've got to have control of the hips. And depending on the ref, was the guy fully controlled? Is he on his butt? And so that's the hard part that I don't know how y'all as refs do it, because it drives me crazy. So
when it comes down to the last second like that and it's going to decide the match, it's a lot. It's hard.
It is, and that stuff we have to look at, because we have to factor in so many things in such a short period of time. Was it control beyond reaction time? Was he down on the mat? Was his head popped out? Where was he? All those things we have to just process so quickly to make that call. And then we get tapped. Was it a fall before time? Well, yeah, it was. So I think we had one at your place Wednesday night that was right at the buzzer, and
right at it.
Yeah, it was right at
Thursday.
The buzzer.
Well, there was also one Thursday night at the middle school, because we had a kid get stuck right at the buzzer.
Yep.
By Ella Claire.
Luckily with us, I had two of my former wrestlers, and I actually pulled all my wrestlers together, and I said, when you are going to tap the ref, you need to be also looking at the clock. Because if the ref blows his whistle, you need to know. And that was kind of one of those things. I know the ref looked at the kid and the kid said, yes. And that was because he's looking at it. He goes, you blew the whistle before I tapped you. But, sometimes we don't have that. And that's the hard part as a ref. You're watching the takedown, and you're also watching the clock, and you're watching coaches. I mean, it's a lot. I can't do what y'all do for sure.
Well, the other thing with that a lot of people don't understand, it's not – we've already seen it for 2 seconds. That pin is there. Yeah. I might not have hit the mat yet, but I already had the two.
Yeah, there's a reaction time between counting two and actually.
So, and that's actually what happened with the one Justin at Hilton Head, and that was the ref's explanation. No, I had this before. I already had it for two. So, for him, he hadn't actually slapped the mat yet at that point.
Right. He didn't slap it until after the buzzer. So that's why we were like, hold on. You slapped it after the buzzer. And he said, I had it for two before the buzzer. We're like, all right.
And so, and that's what I said. Chase kind of looked at me, and I'm like, go ask him. I mean, I kind of gave him that look like, go. And so he went over and he asked him, and he did his job as the coach, because you want to verify that, there may be a little doubt.
I told him to go ask about the two locked hands when we were on our feet, but he didn't.
Well,
I looked at you on those ones.
Funny about your clip you just showed. I just got a text from my brother. He said the assistant coach from James Island is Martin Duane, an old Hilton Head wrestler.
Hilton Head wrestler.
Oh yeah.
In that video, you can see Martin over there coaching. So talk about.
I didn't recognize him, but wow, how about that?
Yeah.
Here's another video. Here's Thomas Bro. Surprise 132 champ. No, this is Lucy Beckham.
Yeah, that's against Lucy Beckham, but
Martin's in there, huh?
That's what he said. He's the assistant coach over there. So
yeah, he wrestled at the Citadel.
I believe so.
Yeah,
he was
he and his brother both.
His dad he and his brother were both studs, man. Yeah. That Jack Duane. Whew.
Yeah, Jack was a beast, man. For a couple years, he was a beast.
So big and strong.
They're both so much fun to watch, though. I'll tell you, they're just two kids that like to get after it.
Look at
Mark was definitely more of a technician than Jack was. Jack was he was a hoss. I mean,
he was a tank.
Yeah, but Martin was definitely more of the slick, technical type wrestler, where Jack was more of a brawler.
Yeah, look at Bro. He had a really good weekend, man. That's solid for him.
That's the fun part right now of the season, is if you get that little bit of confidence going into the right tournament.
Right.
I mean, we talked about it last year with Elmer Linares, coming off of an injury and able to go to the state finals. We were hoping he could just wrestle a couple matches and just peaked at the right time, came off of the lower state win. So,
yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw this.
Well, and a lot of kids start to kind of turn the corner. They start to put it together, like it's like all of it starts to click together at this point, and they can make a little run. So I love watching Elmer wrestle, by the way. I love the way, he drives you crazy. He drives you crazy because he's always on his hips, but I like watching him wrestle because he wrestles legs, and that's what I grew up with.
Well, we've taken a long time working with the right setups because he tends to throw them in because it's comfortable to him. And, we talked about it with George the other night, when he's got to use them. And he likes to throw them in as a setup, but if you get the wrong ref who doesn't understand leg riding, it looks like a stall. And Elmer's got to learn to, just keep moving his hips, keep moving on top, keep working things. And George did a great explanation. I wish you could say it before every match about the definition of stalling. If I give the guy room to grow, it's not technically stalling. But if I'm running a move on top and the guy's sitting there, and I think that's what helped the region duels for a lot of teams was you explaining this is what the refs are looking for this year. And I don't think
that's what I look for all the time. That's how I actually wrote a document for stalling, and I gave it to our officials at the state tournament several years ago. It was actually pre-COVID. Georgia then took it the following year, gave it out at all their clinics for the officials. But if you're flat, your belly button's down, and the other guy tripods above you or quad pods above you, you have given him room to grow. He can build up. And you'll hear me say, stalling on bottom man, you got to build, right? So if your belly button's down, that's on you. You can build and go. Top man doesn't have to necessarily move off the hips. As long as he builds above the hips, there's room for him to base up and work. So I'm still looking at the bottom guy there, because the top man is giving him room, and you're going to lay there. That's still you then, guy. So,
well, and you laugh about that. I got a text from Drayshawn Brown today, old wrestler of mine. He was in the Newberry Open today, talking about some stalling, some situations like that. It's the same at the college level. People are laughing about it. He did text me saying Gianni Batone from Lucy Beckham wrestled in the Open. So wrestled yesterday in the regions and then went and wrestled. He actually took second at the Newberry Open as a high school sophomore or junior.
Yeah, sophomore.
You want to talk about a kid that's going to be real scary real quick.
He's so good, dude. They forfeited to him in the finals yesterday, which was unfortunate. The kid from James Island, who's pretty good, but not as
he's
good
a solid wrestler.
Yeah.
Petrie's pretty good, but Gianni's real good. Here's some more video for us. Bridges Preps 106. This is the one that Hagen told us the other night got carried off in celebratory fashion. I believe he referenced Vision Quest when he told the story on the Lowco Sports Lowdown. I guess this guy was getting worked. I haven't actually watched that much of this video, but it was a wild match. Oh, there we go. Yeah, baby.
14 seconds on the clock. Wow.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I'm looking at the top corner waiting for the slap. Like we said.
Yeah.
An 8-6 match right here.
That might not have been that. Yeah, that wasn't the end of it yet. This is still going.
6-10 right now, it looks like.
You got better vision than I do.
It's because I ate carrots one time.
Though. You ate carrots once?
Yeah, I didn't do it after that.
Just got the good vision and got out.
Got out. That's all I need. I didn't want to wear glasses. That was my thing.
Oh, bonus handshake. I love it. I love the bonus handshake. Yeah, there's tons of them in middle school.
It's funny you say that. I get my 106 pounder to do it all the time on purpose to try to throw off the other kid. I tell him to always, like, at the end of every period, go left hand just to see what happens.
What happens?
Most of the time, the kid goes like this, and then the ref is like, "You don't have to shake hands." And then my 106 cracks me up every time you tell me to get on top. And I'm sure George sees it. He goes and he gives a thumbs up to the ref because he can't hear, and so he's giving a thumbs up to the ref to be like, "Can I get on top?" He got hit with stalling, and he just goes, I just can't hear you. And the ref felt bad. I've never seen a ref take the stalling away. He just, every time he goes to get on top, he gives a thumbs up to the ref. And it just cracks me up.
Well, I've seen him on bottom do it too. He'll pick his hand up after he's set. Bottom man set. Yeah, I'm good. Okay.
Not anymore.
Hargrave always says life's tough. Life's tougher if you're stupid, and we're really working on that part.
Yeah, if you're going to be stupid, you better be tough. So
yeah,
if you're going to be dumb, you got to be tough. I have a theory about good wrestlers that there's a bell curve with the IQ.
I've never met.
You don't want to get. You don't want to get caught in the middle where you think just enough, but to get yourself in trouble, but not fast enough to get yourself out of it.
My youngest brother always says you got to be odd to be number one. And every time you ever see like a national champ get interviewed, there's always something off about him.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's for sure. Man, wrestlers are weird anyway. We're a different
25
breed.
seconds left. Look at Hagen with the hat backwards.
Come on, he's locked in.
Give me the stick. There it is. There it is. Hagen was fired up. Oh, look at him. He feels bad for his opponent. Love it.
I can't.
It's like, you okay, bud? You okay? Oh, man. I hate it when the kid's hurt, though. But he's all right. It's mostly pride hurt, I think.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's mainly the pride.
Yeah.
You'll walk it off. Rub a little dirt on it. Walk it off. So.
The pride will get you. It hurts a good bit.
Props to Hagen, though. He's done some great stuff with that team.
Oh, my gosh. As we've noted, it is a very personal experience, winning or losing a wrestling match. It's very personal. So, no, props to Hagen big time for what they've done over there. And we talked about it the other night on the Lowdown when we had him on, but just the culture, you mentioned it earlier, George, culture matters in this sport, and they've made that room, a cool place to be, and that program, a cool thing to be a part of. And that's what you shoot for. They've definitely done it over there. So interesting to see them, in 2A next year. I hope some of those 2A schools add wrestling. Like Woodland's got a couple hammers coming from the middle school. And a ton of football players who don't play basketball, I'm guessing, and Hampton, I'd love to see Hampton start a wrestling program. That would be phenomenal.
Well, it's funny. One of our assistant coaches was part of the Ridgeland team when they had it for 1 year. He said he won their first match of the year, and that was their only season. And so he's a football guy and a track guy, but we brought him in to help out just because he loves the sport. He said, I wish I would have been able to do this full time because, at a school like Ridgeland or Hampton, those kids just need something if they're not a basketball player,
Well, Hardyville there for the year that they were a combined school, I think, and Steve Broom, whose kids wrestled for me when I was a little kid, Steve Broom was there and was running it. I actually went in and ran a couple of clinics for their kids to, kind of help them out. They borrowed a mat from somewhere because they had some, a couple sections of mat. Didn't do any home matches, but he had 6 or 8 kids that were, in there trying to give it a go. But
went barnstorming. Rayleigh, the principal at Hardyville, has mentioned he has a room reserved to be a wrestling room. He needs a coach, and he'll get it rolling. So awesome. I think we can probably find him one. I'm
sure we can find a coach if you got a team.
That's right.
There's somebody out there that'll at least step in to help out, I'm sure.
I got ideas. I'm sure we all got ideas.
If there's a job opening, I'll find you somebody, even in the Lowco. I just want people to keep these programs alive.
Heck yeah. Gosh, we got people moving here for all kinds of other reasons. Might as well move down here and coach some wrestling.
And that's the thing with this area. So many of our post-COVID, we've got so many Northeastern people moving in.
Yep. That's right.
Whether it be Connecticut, New York, Jersey, and a lot of Michigan people as well. So there's plenty of wrestling type bodies coming to our area. So
Oh yeah.
A lot of people moving from Connecticut. Yeah, no, it's growing leaps and bounds. We all know it. We're in those gyms every weekend and see how many people are in there and what's happening. But let's shout out the varsity sponsors of Lowco Sports: DDS Web Design, building, hosting, and maintaining websites that get results for businesses and nonprofits. So if you need to get found online so you can do more and think bigger, go to ddshhi.com and call on DDS Web Design. Parker Law Group, providing legal needs or servicing legal needs across Colleton, Jasper, and Hampton counties, and teaming up with us to allow us to continue to shine a light on student athletes and teams in those counties. And so we can celebrate more student athletes and teams across the Lowco. And Reverence Wrestling Club, the presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind, right here tonight, talking wrestling in the Lowco and taking all kinds of kids to the next level with their skills on the mat. Go check them out over on the corner of Bluffton Parkway and Burnt Church Road, right over there by Dunkin' Donuts and Planet Fitness. And also Dr. Ambrose Cole, Rooted Living Wellness, my favorite chiropractor. I need to go see him and get fixed. And you should too. He'll get you feeling right, mind, body, and spirit. Those are our varsity sponsors. Just a couple other notes. Obviously, May River taking their 6th straight region title. We've talked plenty about them, but I mean the gold standard right now. And man, it's not just Powell. You look over there and Powell will just be sitting over against the wall, like just kind of watching the match, and there'll be a bunch of other guys coaching. And I think that's really the secret sauce is they've got a lot of eyes in that room who really know what they're looking for and are working with guys on a one-on-one level. But man, what a great job they've done in building up that program, huh?
Well, and you see it too. The alumni are back. I mean, that's
yeah,
for a young school. People want to be involved. And when the alumni come in and, like you said, the coaches buy in, you're going to have a successful program.
Yeah. And like you said, those kids coming back, getting those extra bodies in the room, younger bodies that have the knowledge. They're still young and they can roll around and put that in there where, Powell, Rutherford, Newton, you're head coaches, but a lot of times you have younger guys that are actually getting on the mat, and that's no different than a college room where, Cale, he still gets in there and rolls around some, but he's got those younger coaches. He got a lightweight coach, a middle coach, a heavy coach, and those guys are all actually getting on the mat to put the time in to make the other guys better, giving them that quality workout partner.
Yeah, I tried it one day at the middle school practice, and I ain't been the same since. That's why my neck and shoulder are all cracking out.
That's why you need that chiropractor. See,
I could still beat Jacob Kuntz, but it took everything I had, and I wasn't quite the same after. It was pretty rough. But some other region champs from 7-4A mentioned Stevenson. Marcus Folk won it at 113, although it was a 3-man round robin bracket, which is just silly. Glad we're doing away with this round of qualifying. Caden McCallum won it at 120 from May River. Gianni Batone at 126. Thomas Burrow from May River at 132. Rudisville at 138. Thomas Johnson from James Island at 144. He's a hammer. Michael Sands, another May River champ, at 150. Fulton from Bluffton at 157. Oscar Durcio from Bluffton at 165. Josh Echeverria from May River at 175. Stefan LaPresta from Colleton County at 190. They had cool story, the LaPresta family. Both the boys qualified for the next round, and they have a sister who qualified for state as well. So that was pretty cool. Will Morrow at 215 from May River, and Bradley Denmark from Bluffton at 285. He pinned the big kid from James Island, Jonathan Garrett, in what I thought was going to be a really good match. And then Bradley just caught him in a headlock first period and got him. But they could match up couple more times in the indies because they're both big strong dudes. I love watching Denmark. Denmark is
he's got good hips. He works well on the mat for a big guy. Moves around, takes shots, he'll throw you too. But yeah, he gets after it. I like him. So, and we do our hammers a little bit later. I'm gonna go ahead and throw mine out ahead of time. It's gonna be him. So
Right on. Well, we're gonna do them pretty soon. But yeah, I like Denmark. I like Durcio too. Bluffton's got some tough dudes. They don't have quite the depth to take on May River yet in the duel as we saw the other night. It was 57-15. But man, they're getting better by leaps and bounds. They got a bunch of kids too. So, and we get Little Nutter next year at McCracken.
Yep.
I got him.
Yeah,
I got him
he's
recruiting
come back
6th graders
out, so
already.
Jack will be there, and that'll be good to have him.
Yeah,
It'll be
no
tough.
doubt. He's fun. He's fun. He's a character. I didn't realize he was so young. He was mouthing off to me about Mizzou at the Shark, about Ohio State if they had all their players, blah blah blah. And I was like, bro, like I didn't say nothing. I'm just wearing a sweatshirt. You came up and started talking to me, talking trash. Like, what are we doing here? And then I thought he was
He's
a high
not
school
afraid.
player. Then yesterday he tells me he's in 6th grade, and I'm like, oh wow, all right. I heard Miss Dawn has to get on him, so we'll have to get him straightened out in the wrestling room.
Oh yeah. He can be a handful. He came to me the same way. Came at me.
Most wrestlers are
stuff on, and he came at me about Ohio State beating Georgia. I was like, dude, Ohio State didn't beat Georgia. Well, if it wasn't for that pass, that I said, dude, that's football. It's just
stop
football.
making excuses, bro. Yeah, we'll break him of that excuse making stuff. Hypotheticals, we don't deal in those. But May River sends 14 on to the next round. Bluffton 12, Hilton Head 10, Colleton 8. So everybody will have a bunch of people competing in a couple of weeks. But let's do the Lowco Booster Club and then do our hammers and call it a night.
All right.
Lowco Booster Club at the moment includes scroll Court Lifestyle Pros, Lowcountry natives Daniel and Debbie Court, selling the Lowco lifestyle on Hilton Head Island. Barefoot Floor Care of the Lowcountry. My guy Chris Odom will get your floors so clean your feet will thank you. Prime IV Hydration and Wellness in Belfair Town Village. Go get juiced up with my guy Max and the team. Eagle Creations. If you need promotional items or custom apparel, you can call on Bill and Mandy over on Argent Boulevard at Eagle Creations. Revive Rehab Physical Therapy on your pelvic floor. If you need that, you can call on Dr. Ali and Dr. Jen at Revive Rehab. They're awesome. And Jay's Barbershop, the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. Spicy conversation and tacos on either side of you. Great place to be. Go say hi to Jay and the guys. Fellas, hammers of the week. You already gave yours away, George. Bradley Denmark, he was definitely a hammer this weekend. He was excellent. And you want to shout out anybody else?
No, well, Tommy Bro, because Bro was one of my guys at McCracken coming up through. He moved in from Jersey, and he found me in the hall that first day. Hey, I want to wrestle. I'm a wrestling guy, and I was like, okay, well, good. I'm a wrestling guy. Let's do this. So Tommy Bro would be another one. He's turning it on, like you guys said, at the right time, and so good for him as well. So that gives me one Shark and one Bobcat.
Yeah, very good. Very political of you. Who you got for hammers, Rutherford?
Obviously this weekend I got to shout out all the girl Lowco wrestlers. Fun to see them compete, support each other. Jada looked phenomenal as always. That's a tough kid, but all the girls just getting out there competing and setting a standard for what hopefully will be to come. But if I'm going to be biased to my kids, Gunnar DeGroat went out this weekend or at Wednesday night for the duels and beat we bumped up to 90. He's walking around at like 76, bumped up to 90 and beat Bryce Smalls from Philip Simmons, who's a very tough kid who has given us some fits in the years past. And not only won, but went 4-0. Gunnar right now is 39-1 with 33 pins on the season. So, and he might even be more than that. I got to go back and look at the pins because he told me I was wrong. And I said, well, good, because I'm not good at math. So he told me he had 36 pins. So I said, well, let me go back and look. So he might have 36. I trust his math more than mine. So,
holy cow. How many wins does he have career now?
Well, see, that's the thing. He was starting COVID. And so going into the state tournament, he only had like 9 or 10 wins. And then his sophomore year, he was out the whole year due to a shoulder injury. So he's sitting at close to 75. We just couldn't get him to 100. That's a kid that if he would have wrestled a full real freshman year and wrestled sophomore year. I mean, he might be pushing 150 wins.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. But
We take
yeah,
that kid. I'll take that kid anywhere. I mean, he told me the other day he's thinking about wrestling in college. So I was like, well, you're late, but not too late. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, for most sports, I would say you're way too late, but I think wrestling's a little different animal.
Well,
I think
his grades get him in. I mean, I'm not to brag anymore on Gunner, but I think he's got like a 4.92 GPA.
Yeah,
which I didn't know was
like
possible.
I said, it's a bell curve.
Yeah. Well, you've got Gunner on this end, and when I was a wrestler over here on that end, staying alive, if I said it. So
I got caught somewhere in the middle. That's why I wasn't as good as I could have been.
Well, the great thing, John, the great thing is we in South Carolina this week we had number 2 Lander against number 2 Life University. So on the college level, there was a heck of a match wrestled, and those two went at it. And I think it was 19-16 was the final, and Life pulled that out over Lander. And those are 2 top-notch programs in one NAIA and the other one in D2. And that just kind of watching what I had seen and then talking to a few folks, that was a heck of a duel. That's one that if you're close by, you should have taken your team to go watch that, because that was a good wrestling.
Yeah. Well,
and they did a promo too where they put a thing out that if any teams wanted to bring high school or middle school coaches wanted to bring their teams, they'd arrange for that.
And I'll tell you, RC over there, LaHaye,
LaHaye's great.
He says if you want to bring your team, just call me. I'll find a way. Daryl Brown at Newberry's the same way. I really think that's going to be the biggest thing that's going to boost it. I don't know the Citadel coach well enough, but I'm pretty sure if I call him and say I want to bring my team, he'll do it. And actually, what they didn't say is before the Lander match, Eastside wrestled a high school match.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah, so that's something that Lander's trying to do, and I know that Citadel's trying to do it next year, is host a high school duel before a college match. So I think that's
they actually did that last year. We went up there and reffed it, and it was on the field at McKissick Field.
I remember that.
Yeah. So cool. They had I think 4 mats down.
Yep.
And we wrestled high school stuff on it, and then they wrestled Presbyterian and somebody.
And Citadel and PC wrestled.
Yeah, on the end mat. They did that last year. This year they were trying to do something like that. I'm not sure they were able to make it pop, but yeah, they are trying to do that again. To make that sort of happen. So hopefully they can get it worked out.
We got to get wrestling at USCB. Got to get wrestling at USCB.
Sand Shark Wrestling sounds like a pretty sweet deal.
No doubt.
I'm telling you.
No doubt.
That'd be good stuff.
The original AD out there, we had talked to her about trying to get wrestling, and that was part of her 4 to 5 year plan was to have a wrestling team out there. But then she left, and so obviously that fell through. But
there's been a lot of plans. I mean, the thing about best laid plans.
Yep,
we all got plans, but I would love to see it, and I think with Lander being in the same conference as far as in the Peach Belt, I don't know what conference they wrestle in. Coastal Carolinas, I would guess maybe.
I think it's the AAC, maybe.
Oh, yeah,
Atlantic
okay.
Athletic, maybe. I think it's AAC.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah, I think it would make a lot of sense, and it also is just a way to put a bunch of students in your school. You start a men's and a women's team, and you're picking up 50 kids or so. So that's a nice little boost to enrollment. But
going backwards a little bit, real quick. Newberry. Yeah. And Lander and Limestone, all those programs were started. Dino actually went in and talked to the boards about it. Said, look, you're bringing in 20, 30 kids that most of them are going to have to pay their way. Right. So your school is going to come out on the positive side with, the students, because you're going to need 30 kids on the team. And at D1, you only get 9.9.
9.7 or something.
Yeah. So you're not getting even 10 guys. Your whole lineup isn't getting full rides, and they usually split them anyway. So, you bring in 30 kids, that's 21 kids that are paying.
Right.
And if you do a girls team as well, then, it's twice as nice. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, women's, and you're silly not to do men and women, because then they cancel each other out in Title IX.
Yep. Title IX,
if you don't do women's wrestling, then you got to add another women's sport to offset men's wrestling. And I think that was one of the holdups for a lot of schools for a long while was, oh, well, this is going to throw our Title IX out of whack. But now with the rise of women's wrestling, it doesn't have to. You can just have both and fund them equally, like you do basketball, and you're good in soccer and whatever, and you're good to go. Plus, they already have women's soccer and not men's at USCB, so they are in pretty good shape on Title IX compliance already, or should be. So they should be primed. We'll see. And I think they got volleyball coming too, so they're going to need a men's sport to balance it out. Let's go. Let's get some wrestling going at USCB. More hammers of the week from me. I did want to shout out the JP2 guys since Lons is gone. Jack Hannigan was the guy you mentioned there, 144, who's been hitting Reverence. I saw him in there during the Shirto clinic a couple weeks ago, getting after it and seeing the results. So you'd love to see that, going undefeated the other day. And then Jude Witkowski was the other one who got a key win for them against Northwood, flipped the script and got a pin after being down. So those were the big ones for them, hammer-wise. And then, I wanted to shout out also, just an extra shout out for the state champs on the girls' side. Amory Alvarez from Bluffton Middle and Lizeth Diaz Morales from Hilton Head Middle winning state championships. And then Vivian Uriola and Jada Lawrence winning the lower state qualifier. Gotta give the ladies some love. Lady Hammers. Love it. But that should do it for tonight, fellas. Appreciate you coming and talking wrestling with us. Always a good time. Thanks as well to Greg Lons for popping by. And shout out to all the wrestling coaches out there screaming their lungs out. We still got you and me, Rutherford. We still get in here and talk. I got my voice back since Thursday, and now I'm off the hook for a little while. I'll be yelling at baseball players again soon. But so be it.
Gentlemen, have a good night. We appreciate you.
All right, fellas. Yeah, that'll do it for this one. Thanks so much to everybody who stopped by. Thanks to our sponsors. And thanks to those of you who show up to listen or watch. That does it for the Lowco Grind presented by Reverence Wrestling Club. Wes and I are back tomorrow night for the Lowco Sports Lowdown at 10 p.m. So we'll see you then. Until next time, go Lowco.